And welcome back to Grumpy Beaver Gaming. This is episode 2 of the Timberpost playthrough. Last episode, we left our beavers in a bit of a spot of bother. Certainly a bit of a cliffhanger. We were sitting with no food, lots of water, no berries, and no ability to rebreed. As you can see, we've got some healthy kohlrabi brewing there. We've got 4 lodges on the build. We've got some inventor huts. We've got a couple of breeding chambers. I even got a metal shack there. How are the beavers going to get out of this one though? Without the ability to actually breed, we're really waiting on those berries. This is going to be a tense one, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Grumpy Beaver Gaming. So let's get into some gameplay. The first strategy we're going to run is we're going to run and get the baby beavers back up and running. So if we come over here, have a look. Oh, that one's nearly done. That one's nearly done. Let's get them back up and running. This is going to be key to the strategy. We need to highlight that we have kohlrabis on the way, but they're a day or so away. The main thing that we've got going for us at the moment is how much food we actually, how much water we've got going for us. We have a dam that we're going to be building down through here, which is going to help us out lots as well. So it's a bit of a hurry up and wait scenario. So we'll jump into a quick time lapse for a day or two, just to sort of let them progress a little bit further. And there it is, our firstly fully grown kohlrabi. So let's have a look about how we can do a bit of storage here. We're going to need it. We've got a lot of kohlrabis growing, so I'm a big fan of sort of getting storage in early. We'll pop that one in, turn him around, let him get into there. While we're at it, why don't we put a second one in? I'll just work out where. Yep, hang on. Yep, no, that one. Get it right, Grumpy. Come on, you got it? There we go. And I think, realistically, when we got one's good, 2 is better. We've got a bit of dynamite thanks to our storerooms down the bottom. Let's be a bit cheeky. We'll unlock that. And we'll just make that little bit of extra room in there. That way we can actually start really planning ahead for our little grumpy beavers. So just looking up at our population, guys, we're down to 10 adults and 2 babies. Food still hasn't actually started becoming positive. We've got a lot of kohlrabis in the field. We've got a lot of hungry beavers still there, but we seem to be eating it faster than we're making it, guys. I don't know how this is looking. We're going to have to keep ploughing at this one. Let's just jump into another quick time lapse. Just get a couple of extra days up and just sort of see how these guys are going. So we're coming out of that time lapse. We're jumping straight into a drought. Look at this, guys. Thankfully we've got 36 kohlrabi. We've still got plenty of water, but geez, I might just sort of skip ahead and sort of see how we go. And just like that, guys, we're out of the drought. Wow, let's do a quick catch up because everything's pretty critical still. We're at 94 or so kohlrabi, so we're finally getting a little bit of capacity in that food, and aren't we glad that we built that storage? Look at the berry situation though. We're just so close. High 90s for our berries. Let's have a closer look there, guys. We're at 91 on that one, 97 on that one. Any tick of the clock, we should be getting into a matured berry plant here. This is going to be our next challenge, guys, to see how whether we can get the berries in there and what we can do about this population. See if we can turn the tide around on this. It's got to be there any second now. Any second. And look at that. Just at night time, the main berries come through. And look at that. We've got our first berries. As soon as they come through, the first thing that happens, we go into nighttime. So each breeding pod is going to take 5 berries for a period of 5 days. So we're going to have to get ourselves out of this spot of bother by putting in more breeding pods. We certainly have the food resources, we certainly have the water resources. We really need to rebuild this population, and we need to rebuild it pretty quickly. So as part of rebuilding it pretty quickly, let's have a look a bit. What are we going to do with these berries once we get them? No, we're not going to put them in a large log pile. Let's put a bit of storage down for them. The more storage we can get, the more drought resistance and the more stable the colony will become. So let's do a bit of an overview. Let's do a recap. We have a dam. Let's have a look at the lower dam. We have the lower dam back up and running. That's probably where some of our sneaky beavers were hiding. Let's pause that one for the moment. If we're going to get this population to grow, I think we're going to need to actually get more berries. I am concerned about how few berries we've got. As you can see, as quick as they grow, they pluck them. Now, we've only got a little bit of storage of them. Yeah, we've got 51, but I tell you what, that's not enough to actually make me not grumpy. We're going to prioritise the forester, and look at him, he gets straight in. That you got to be happy with that. You can't be grumpy about that. We'll unpause this one, or check this one. Everything seems to be pretty right there. We seem like we're getting out of the hole we're in, guys. We're only down to 6 adults, so at this point our strategy has got to be focus on the food. Now, Grumpy's always going to think ahead here. I'm going to build a little bit further. I've got to keep him busy on that. I've also got to keep the game moving. So if you let these guys sit around doing nothing, then you're going to have a really slow experience in this game. So we'll build a bit of a build queue for them. It's something a lot of the senior players play. It's something that I actually play with when I'm playing the larger maps. If you get a big build queue going for these beavers, you can get so much more progress. So what we're really doing here is a little bit of future proofing. We'll get some steps up in there. We'll make it a little bit easier for them to get up to. And happiest days. It'll allow us to actually do so much more with those rooftops further down the track. And look at that. You got to be grumpy about that. Come on, get it together, mate. The other thing we've got to be looking at doing in this situation is we might be a bunch of grumpy beavers, but these guys thrive off happiness. What can we make these guys to do a little bit happier? Let's spend a little bit of science. Let's make them a little bit happier. I'm meant to be the grumpy one. They're not meant to be that grumpy. We'll throw some roofs in there. We'll get a few lanterns in there, and we'll get a few bushes in there. It's a bit of a cheap mechanic in this game that you can actually spread it out like that. You've either got to play the sort of, how do you call it? You've got to play the ornamental game where everything's really quite nice and pretty. And look, we'll be doing that probably later in this playthrough. But at this stage, we've got to be practical about it. We've only got a very limited amount of beavers, a very limited amount of resources. We're really trying to get these guys up and running out of a real nasty pit they're in. So at this stage of the game, I think we need to actually just do a double check We'll sort of see where we're at. Let's check our maintenance again. We've got an adult beaver that's grown. We've got 6 babies, so we're beginning to turn this colony around. Let's just do a bit of a round town and sort of see who's who and what they're doing. A couple of beavers in there. That's alright. Let's get a couple of extra builders in there. We've got a build queue for them going. We should be prioritising food everywhere. And we should be doing some maintenance everywhere. And then really just checking around the colony just to see what's what. A little bit of the normal gameplay. Can be a little bit slow, but it's so important at these critical stages. So moving forward, what we'll be looking for is let's make sure we've got some timber to actually build some things. Because let's face it, that's what the fun part of this game is. So we'll have a quick look at our forester there. We've got 2 foresters in, one's paused, one's active. We're going to pause him and bring him over. Let's get this other set of trees planted. Now, this early stage of the game, I think pines are going to do us well. We're going to need some timber pretty quickly. We've got 960 logs already, but they're down in the lower storage and they take forever for the beavers to get. Now, the next thing we want to do when we start future planning, oh look at that, we're out of the drought. We're going to get some water back. Let's start thinking about water. We don't want to be going down to the lower storeroom all the time getting water. Let's start getting some big tanks up the top here. Not those ones, Grumpy. Not, there we go. Let's unlock them. Spend a bit of science. Start making it quicker and easier for our little beavers to be able to get a drink and get something to eat. This is going to help them grow so much faster. We're only sort of sitting at 6 beavers. We still have 5 babies. But I don't know, we've got to make this as easy as we can on them if we're going to survive this one, guys. The reason why I've got that one populated is I just do not want any of these to ever be without. These are the whole lifeblood of our game at the moment. So the next thing we'll start getting back into is our forestry back down here. And we were just going to make this a little bit easier on ourselves. Right, that's the wrong one. Let's get rid of that. Pop that down there. And just like that, we're beginning to claw our ways out of the hole that we're in, guys. We've got 10 beavers, we've got 7 babies, we've got food up and running, we've got water up and running. We might get out of this just yet. And guys, just look at that. The colony is beginning to up and move. This is a really great time to re-emphasize. Getting everything up the top is going to save these beavers so much time. You can see how quickly they're moving around. You can see how they're actually running around. We've got 12 adults, 5 kids. So what do we do to improve next? We're going to start getting in some unemployed beavers. Look at that, we've got our first unemployed beavers. With distance has been so critical in this map, let's start looking at a hauling post. Whereabouts are they? Look, there they are. No signs to unlock. Hauling post is going to make life so much easier in the long term. I think we will put it up here out of the way. What I like to do with the hauling post is actually have them as low priority, and just as the population grows, they can come and go as they need to out of those ones. sure these are set up. So we're back at 17 with 7 babies. I would say we're back, guys. I would say we've gotten out of that really nasty spot of bother. Wasn't looking pretty grim for our hero beavers here. They would have been pretty grumpy about it. Let's see which direction we can take them now. Now that we're back on the positive. Now, thankfully, a bad tide doesn't really impact us, and we've done our hard work on that before. No, we haven't. Oh dear, guys. Look at this. This is going to be our next project. This is just not good. I think a road across here will allow us to just clear this up a little bit. Let's sort of get that out of there. Do a bit of a clean up across there. Get some more pines planted. We've got the levee unlocked. Thankfully that was only a short one, guys. But holy dooly. Didn't that catch us with our pants down? Won't happen again. Yeah, look at that up there as well, guys. We're going to have to knock down those bridges. They're natural dams, aren't they? They're not bridges. And we have oh, look at that. So let's have a look down here. We need a little bit more science to get these beavers moving a little bit further. At the moment we're only running about 530 science. As we come down to the lower decks like we saw in the last episode, we have a huge amount of resources in this environment. We've got plenty of storages. You can see how many of the storages we've gone through. You can see all the empty berry ones that we've had. See how many water tanks in there. And you can sort of see, as I just highlighted there, a couple of bad water pipes. That's something we're going to have to deal with beforehand. But to start off with, let's get all that yummy science. That's got to be about 4,000 points. And let's sort of see how our beavers are going off with that blockage of the bad water. Where are they up to? And look at that. Just one. Oh, they've got the levee in. Now hopefully we can come across here and they'll be able to get rid of that natural dam there. And that'll actually drain out the bad water for us. Come on, mate. You can do it. And look at that. He's just done it. Next stage is, let's get some platforms going. Let's make sure we can get rid of all of them. A little bit of a temporary platform in there. I certainly don't want the bad water creeping up through this end of the map again. So while we're actually checking on the bad tides, let's have a look down in the lower levels of our storage. We saw a couple of bad water outlets before, and let's just sort of see that we're actually protected there. So we've already been here by the looks of it. I think it's just a case of finishing off the job. Let's have a look and sort of see how we can have a go at it. So we'll just end up popping a couple of platforms across there. Pop in some stairs. I'm not allowed our grumpy little beavers get to the third row. The worst thing we really want is for the bad water to get over the top on the third level. And while we're at it, pop up one more level. Back down. Just a little future proofing for the game. We'll make sure we can get to it. Oh, there we go. We weren't connected to the paths. So while we're down here, why don't we do a bit of cleanup? So now that we're out of the lower storeroom, let's have a quick look around the map. Let's just double check on everything while we're going. What? Hang on. Look at that food. We're down to 6 kohlrabies. What's going on? Look at that. Let's get a couple of extra beavers in there. You've got to keep on top of this map. These guys are going to start starving again. Could you imagine how grumpy they'd be? They'd be eating all the berries. That'd stop the population growth. Geez, we'd be in some trouble there, wouldn't we, boys? And while we're at it, why don't we check the breeding pods? Look at that, guys. We've got 29 beavers, 5 babies. We need to put a pause on there. They're going to eat us out of house and home. Holy dolly, we'd be in a spot of bother there again. We've grown so quickly, we just need to slow it back down, get things back under control, get the game back into balance. And the last bit of maintenance, dude, let's go and see how they went with those platforms. Oh, look at that. They're good beavers. I shouldn't be too grumpy at them. We'll just make sure that we can actually get all the demolished. The last thing we want to do is have a bit of bad water hanging around there. Just in time for a drought. Lordy me. This map still keeps throwing us to the challenges, doesn't it? So let's have a little bit of a recap. We started the map with 17 adults. We got down to 6. We're up to 36 at this point and 3 babies. And we've had to slow them down. We've gotten food under control. We've gotten water under control. We've done a bit of cleanup. And we've even managed to start taming the bad times. What a productive episode, guys. As always, I want to say thank you. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. It really does help out the YouTube situation. And always, don't forget to give it a bit of a share around. Comments should be now active in the channel. If you want to leave a comment or a question, feel free. It is a new channel. I'll do my best to answer. I might not have the answer, but I'll tell you what, I'll give it a crack. But thank you again once, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.